It's time now for the Business Spotlight here on News Talk 94.7 and 970 WMAY. And today we are at the SIU Center for Family Medicine, and we're visiting with Ruta Kulys, who is a licensed clinical social worker at the SIU Neuroscience Institute, about something that I've seen shown up quite a bit in the media of the importance of mindfulness. You run a mindfulness-based stress reduction clinic. What is mindfulness? Let's start there.
Mindfulness is a way of connecting to yourself. It's a skill that helps you pay attention to what you're experiencing in your body, in your thoughts, and in your emotions. Mindfulness is the opposite of being on autopilot. When you're on autopilot, your body is doing one thing and your mind is doing another thing, and that can lead to a feeling of being fragmented. Mindfulness brings your body and your mind together and helps you be aware of yourself in a way that can help you feel more whole and more integrated.
How did you get interested in this?
I have a 16-year-old daughter, and when I was pregnant with her, I had a number of medical problems, and one of the problems I had was severe migraines. And these were the kind of migraines that the only thing you could basically do was, close the blinds, lay in bed, and try not to move because the pain was so bad. And because I was pregnant, I didn't want to take any medication. And so I was struggling. I was missing work, and I was pretty miserable. And I had heard that meditation can help people manage pain. And so I got online and I ordered a meditation CD, and I started meditating every day. And what I found was that it didn't make the migraines go away, but when I got the migraines, it made it easier for me to handle them. And then after I had her, I continued to practice meditation, and 2 years after she was born, I completed a training so that I could teach people mindfulness. Mindfulness-based stress reduction is what I was trained in.
Yeah, and so there's an event coming up pretty soon that people can be a part of. So what is mindfulness-based stress reduction?
So mindfulness-based stress reduction is a program that came out of the University of Massachusetts Medical Center in the 70s. So it's been around for a long time, and there's a lot of good research that it helps people. It is an 8-week class that teaches people different mindfulness practices that they learn, and then they go home and they practice every day.
There has been some fascinating research on mindfulness and how effective it can be. What are some of the things that you're hearing lately?
So mindfulness has been shown to help people with a whole long list of things. Basically, any conditions that are either caused by stress or made worse by stress are likely to get better if people practice mindfulness meditation. One of the studies that I find the most interesting, though, in the research is that they have looked at people's brains and found that people who complete a program like this and meditate for 8 weeks, at the end of those 8 weeks, the part of their brain that is associated with feeling good becomes more active. It tends to light up on the scans. And so to me, that's fascinating that the practice, that this is something we can do on our own that can actually change what's happening in our brain and help us feel better.
So how is it something you learn to do? How do you learn to just be mindful?
You learn with a lot of practice. Yeah. So the home practice is really important. And when you're in a class like this, it's basically like taking 8 weeks to put yourself under a microscope and get really interested in yourself. So you spend time paying attention to what's happening in your body and looking at your thought patterns and really understanding yourself and understanding your experiences as they happen.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the mindfulness-based stress reduction clinic that you're doing, this 8-week session that people can get involved in, and we'll talk about that coming up next year on the Business Spotlight on News Talk 94.7 and 970 WMAY. We are at the SIU Center for Family Medicine, and back in a moment.
Providing high-quality care, innovative education and research, and community services in 66 counties. SIU Medicine serves 2.2 million people in central and southern Illinois. Services include 5 community health centers through SIU's Center for Family Medicine. SIU Medicine offers state-of-the-art education, patient care, and research in a warm, caring environment. SIU Medicine. Forward for you. Visit siumed.org. or call 585-8000.
And we're back now on the Business Spotlight on News Talk 94.7 and 970 WMAY. Visiting today with Ruta Kulys, and she is a licensed social worker at the SIU Neuroscience Institute. There is a mindfulness-based stress reduction clinic coming up. Am I using the right word? It's a clinic?
It's a class.
Yeah, a class. Okay, a class. And this is 8 weeks is a big commitment of time. So why do you think it's important for people to be a part of this?
Well, this class is actually a big commitment of both time and money. It's $400 for the 8 weeks, and I think it's important because I think it's really an investment in yourself and in your health. You know, people who are serious about taking care of themselves will often invest in themselves. So if you think, for example, if you're a runner, you can easily spend over $100 on one pair of running shoes. I tend to think it's important for all of the benefits for the person, but I also think it's the gift that keeps giving, because we all know what we're like when we're stressed out and what we're like to be around. And if you don't know, then you should ask the person you live with, because they'll be able to tell you the difference. And when we feel good, we are easier to be around, we're easier to interact. And so I think it's beneficial for not only us, that's the obvious part, but also for the people that we have in our lives.
You talked a little bit about your experience, but what kinds of things have you seen happen for other people who have done this?
So I have seen people who have anxiety and depression report that they feel like it has been tremendously helpful. Just like myself, in terms of working with chronic pain, I have seen people who have chronic pain report that it's really beneficial. It can help with a lot of various conditions if people put the time into it.
Can anybody be a part of this class?
Anybody can be a part of this class if they want to be, and they're over 18. There are some people who should think about whether this is the right time for them to be in the class. So, for example, if you have really bad anxiety and the idea of being in a classroom 2 hours a week is too much, it's probably not the best class for you. If you are having substance abuse problems, you should probably get those under control first. If someone has anxiety or depression that's bad enough that it's going to interfere with their ability to be successful in a program with this, they should wait and address that with their doctors first.
So it's $400 for 8 weeks, which, boy, when you sort of spread that out like that, it's really not a lot for taking care of oneself.
Well, it's $400 for over 20 hours of instruction plus materials, so it comes out to less than $20 an hour. It is an investment, but I think it's along the lines of an ounce of prevention versus a pound of cure.
How can people sign up, and how can they get some more information?
We're doing a free orientation meeting January 8th at 5:30 at the Centrum Building. That's SIU Department of Psychiatry on Madison. If someone would like to get more information online, they can go to the SIU website, which is www.siumed.edu, and type mindfulness in the search box, and that'll bring up information about the class. And if they'd like, they can call me. And my number is 545-7663. They can call me directly, and I'd be happy to chat with people and answer their questions.
It's an amazing, the research, like I said, is amazing on it, and how well it's worked for people, and the things that have been done without the actual medications, but just by using your own mind. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Good information.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
We're at the SIU Center for Family Medicine for the Business Spotlight here on News Talk 94.7 and 970 WMAY.